Well, hello, Blue Troopers. Max and Max's Models here. And a subject that's been coming up a little bit lately is people downsizing their stashes. Of the 350 odd models that I have, a lot of them, and I mean like well over 90% of them, have been gifts from Glue Troopers, many of whom make the comment that they're downsizing their stash. And it gets to one of those things, of course, depending on how big your stash is, exactly what you intend to do with them in the future. I know Steve and I have talked about from time to time, what'll happen after we're gone and the models are still there. And none of us want our valuable collectible kits or our dream kits to wind up in the trash can or going off on eBay for $5. So it brings up the issue when it does come time to download the stash, what do you do? Now, I have regifted probably 20 to 25 kits over the years that mostly you guys gave me because I knew the people were interested in getting into modeling or something somebody really wanted. And, we're all pals here. We want to help each other out. Somebody has a kit, another guy wants it. You're happy to play matchmaker. And that's great. That's kind of who we are. And the same thing also goes for a lot of times our reference materials, our books and things as well. So I have a couple of thoughts, and please put yours in the comment section below. If you think that, hey, I've got a lot of stuff here, I'm never going to get around to building, what to do with it. Well, of course, like I mentioned, a lot of you guys have really been gracious and sent them to me at no small expense, given the rate of postage, I might add. So finding someone to give a good home to would kind of be the first thing. Of course, going to a show and one of the cons, Modelpalooza, something like that, and putting them on the table, getting yourself a vendor's table, sell them there as an option. I know we have one Glue Trooper down here in Florida. I'm probably going to pick some models up for him to take for Ian to try and sell off. So local independent hobby shop, if you're fortunate enough to have one, might be one way to make sure they find a good home. And of course, gifting them out, especially if you want to get somebody hooked on model building. We also happen to have a military museum down here. I'm going to ask them if they'd like some of the models I've already built. Of course, the first question you have to ask yourself is, one, do I want to downsize my stash? If so, by how much and when? And then, of course, what's my goal? Is it to give them a good home or something? Or is it to make a little money? I mean, they're all noble goals, nothing wrong with any of them. But I'd work out a little bit of a plan and make sure you're honest with yourself about kits you really are never going to build and don't really have any use for, might find a happier home somewhere else. Of course, I also know that a lot of times just having them in the boxes on the shelf brings pleasure, and that's great. That's fine. In fact, I have quite a few kits here that I rather enjoy just having them, even though I don't know if I'll ever get around to building them. I'd like to, but you never know. So downsizing the stash is kind of counterintuitive. It's like reaching into your 401k or your retirement plan. You spent your whole life putting money into it, and then you retire, and all of a sudden you have to start taking money out, and you're like, what? This makes no sense. This is not what I've trained to do my whole life. It creates a little bit of a dilemma, doesn't it? But hey, if these are your problems, then you're doing all right. Well, anyway, that was just a little thought that I was having today, and just thought I would bring that up as a subject for conversation. Guys, I hope you're doing well. I want to thank everyone that made the live stream. We'll talk at you later. And as always, model on.